Hello everyone. As businesses move towards cloud technology, they encounter many unexpected roadblocks. These roadblocks, known as cloud adoption antipatterns, can be a real hindrance to progress. In this video, we'll be exploring these antipatterns and map them to different phases of cloud adoption where they tend to rear their ugly heads. Join me as we dive into the world of cloud adoption and learn how to avoid these common pitfalls. During the last 10 years of working with the cloud, I've personally witnessed many of these antipatterns. I wish I had this list with me when I started my cloud journey. The first antipattern we have is adopt the cloud without establishing goals. Many companies claim to have a cloud-first or cloud-only strategy, but they often fail to define what they want to achieve with those strategies. Without clear indicators or specified targets, it is impossible to measure project performance. The preferred approach is define goals and KPIs for cloud adoption. When discussing reasons for adopting the cloud, define concrete KPIs. This way, you can measure the success of your strategy. Next antipattern is fail to communicate motivations. Cloud adoption initiatives can fail if a company's motivations aren't aligned. A business may realize the benefits of cloud adoption, but fail to communicate them to the IT. Preferred approach is define and communicate reasons for cloud adoption. To successfully adopt cloud technology, it is important to have a clear understanding of why you want to do so. Once you have defined your reasons, communicate them effectively across your organization. This will help ensure both your IT and business teams are more receptive to the adoption process. Next antipattern is choose the wrong cloud operating model. A misaligned operating model will lead to scenarios such as too much responsibility assigned to a small cloud team. The preferred approach is to evaluate the existing and then deploy a suitable operating model. The team structure and communication model between teams should be optimized for efficient functioning. Next antipattern is replace architecture. Due to the perception of requiring less management effort, many companies replace their old and complex architecture with SaaS or PaaS platforms, which leads to a major replacement projects. However, managing and executing these projects itself is complex and expensive. There are also substantial risks involved in changing processes and operating models. The preferred approach is to rationalize your digital estate. Consider modernizing your application environment incrementally. Instead of replacing it entirely, evaluate which strategy, rehost, refactor, re-architect, rebuild, or replace is optimal for your scenario. Next antipattern is assume released cloud services are ready for production. Cloud providers frequently release preview versions of new services, but customers often assume they can be used in production environments. The preferred approach is to use pre-approved cloud services in production. When evaluating services that are in preview, only use them in proof of concept scenarios. Do not use these services in production environments as they do not have SLAs. Next antipattern is assume increased resilience and availability. Many of us assume all cloud services offer resiliency and high availability, but these features are often only available at extra cost and with additional effort. The preferred approach is to reduce failures while balancing resiliency and costs. When designing a cloud-based solution, it is important to balance costs with features like resiliency and availability. Identify non-functional requirements and then decide on these factors. Next antipattern is migrate, modernize, or innovate without guardrails. When we first start using the cloud, we often view it as a testing ground for new solutions and we love the flexibility. However, once the workloads become productive, everything slows down as we need to meet all necessary compliance, regulatory, and security standards of the company. The preferred approach is to provide guardrails. Before you migrate your workloads to the cloud, it is important to establish security and compliance measures to ensure the protection of your data. Next antipattern is dictate an architecture. When developing applications in the cloud, a company may opt for a microservice-first strategy, assuming that a microservice architecture is always superior to a traditional monolithic architecture. However, if the company fails to conduct a proper application assessment and due diligence, this strategy can backfire. The preferred approach is to base architecture decisions on assessments. Choose an architecture based on the use case or an architecture assessment rather than following a specific style. Don't limit the options, as the cloud offers freedom of choice. Avoid picking architectures just because they are in fashion. Next anti-pattern is focusing on tooling, not business outcomes. A tool, whether new or modernized, doesn't guarantee faster delivery or better business outcomes. The preferred approach is to measure success with business outcomes. When measuring success, it is important to focus on business outcomes rather than just simple technology outputs like faster deployment or pipeline configurations. The next anti-pattern is misunderstand shared responsibilities. When you adopt the cloud, it's not always clear where your responsibility ends and the cloud provider's responsibility starts. The preferred approach is to create a readiness plan. As a consumer of the cloud, you need to understand shared responsibility in the cloud and prepare a cloud team by providing relevant cloud skills and knowledge required to build processes. The next anti-pattern is assume out-of-the-box solutions provide security. Security is often seen as given in the cloud. It is often true, however, compliance requirements can differ from security needs. The preferred approach is to define a cloud security strategy. Develop a cloud security strategy and implement policies in the cloud to ensure compliance. The next anti-pattern is treat IT as a cost center. Many companies treat IT departments as cost centers. This approach can lead to the perception that IT doesn't add value to the company. The preferred approach is to view IT as an enabler. IT should be seen as an enabler, and it should either charge the business and show IT cost as operating expenses, or at least show back the IT cost and create awareness. Next anti-pattern is invest in new technology without involving the business. IT departments sometimes fail to consider business units' needs during platform development, resulting in new technology with minimal relevance for employees and poor adoption rates. The preferred approach is to involve business units in decision making. Avoid creating IT silos by involving developers and technical decision makers from business units. The next anti-pattern is outsource core business functions. Outsourcing responsibilities to cloud consultants can play an important role in a cloud journey. However, it's important for companies not to become dependent on these providers. The preferred approach is to make critical decision areas the company's responsibility. Consider outsourcing as a cost-cutting measure, but make critical decisions within your organization regarding governance, risk, compliance, and identity. If you see these anti-patterns in your workplace, do flag them out. For more such content, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay curious, stay data-driven.